Honey Chipotle Glazed chicken thighs. Now, these are great any time of the week, but if you're in a budget, they're even better. And I pretty much went to the supermarket and got these for just a little bit over $15. They were about 16 thighs. So, already there, you're saving a lot of money, and that's enough for about 8 people, 2 thighs per person. Come on, that's a deal. So, the first thing I did was I took the thigh out and I decided I wanted to take the bone off the thigh. These work fine if you don't want to take the bone off, but I kind of wanted to take this off. And the reason why I was trying to do that is because I want to eventually be able to cut the chicken or chop the chicken in this manner. So let me show you how to do that. So first off, identify where the bone is, kind of run the knife alongside it. And I'm going to do that pretty carefully. I don't want to cut myself and I don't want you to cut yourself. So run the knife along the bone, turn it around, do the same thing on the other side. And if you can, at some point you can actually go under the bone like this, and that will kind of help release the bone from the meat. And you let gravity do its thing. You let the thigh rest on the board, and you kind of scrape off the meat on the bone. Now, I'm okay with some of the meat staying on the bone, and the reason why is because I'm gonna make a video on how to do chicken stock. So I'm gonna use these bones for stock. You know, you see all these people tell you, "Oh, save the bones for stock," but how many of you actually do it? So stay tuned. So now I'm twisting the bone, as you can see, and I'm cutting right underneath that joint. There is going to be a little piece of the joint that's going to stay on the thigh, but that's okay. I'm going to show you how to cut that off. So once I kind of release it like this, you can see it's pretty much all there. Some of the joint was actually left on the thigh, but I'm going to kind of just pinch it and snip it off right there. And there you go. You have a thigh, a boneless thigh, skin on. For this recipe, you want it to be skin on. I'm gonna do that to all these thighs. Once I've done that, I'm gonna go ahead and season them with just a salt, pepper, and paprika mixture. I already have this pre-mixed, pretty much 30% salt, 30% pepper, 30% paprika. So again, salt both sides. Presentation side first, then the underside. Once you have that nicely seasoned, we're going to turn them back around, and these are going to go in the oven. Now, you should preheat your oven to about 375, or at 375, I should say. 20-25 minutes. Thighs are usually done quicker. The longer you leave them, the better, kind of. But I'm going to show you why I didn't leave them any longer. So, in the meantime, let's start our honey chipotle glaze or sauce. So I couldn't find the cans with just the adobo sauce, so I got the ones with the pepper in it as well. I'm using about 3 peppers. My family doesn't mind the heat, but if you do, I suggest you look for the adobo sauce only and just use the sauce. Now, what I'm going to do to extract some of that sauce is I'm going to add the peppers onto this strainer here and kind of gently press on it just so some of that sauce goes underneath. I'm just going to move it around here gently, and then I'm going to scrape off whatever adobo actually made it through. Just move it around like that. As you can see, some adobo makes it through, and that's pretty much what I use. And then the peppers, just go ahead and save them in your fridge. That's what I'm going to do for future recipes. So then I added a chopped garlic, roughly chopped. It doesn't have to be perfect. And then about, I would say 6 to 8 ounces of honey. Now all this is just pretty much, I'm not measuring it. This is eyeballing it. This sauce is very easy and forgiving. You can adjust it as you go. So that's about 6 to 8 ounces of honey. And then I added a citrus beer, but you can actually get away with orange juice. I would almost prefer with orange juice actually. So either way, this was about 6 ounces, and I went ahead and used the immersion blender. If you don't have an immersion blender, you can just add all this to your blender. It's fine. It's not going to change anything. I just didn't want to put all this in a blender and have to wash the blender cup. But you're going to pretty much blend this till it's pretty much smooth. And then we're going to put this on the stove, turn on the heat, kind of medium heat. And you want it to kind of reduce and thicken up a little bit. As you can see here, it's not 100% thick, but the way you can tell is by running your finger through the spoon. If the sauce doesn't run down, it's thick enough, it'll hold. So once the chicken is pretty much cooked, you're gonna brush this liberally on the thighs and you're gonna want to hit every single little spot. Don't miss a spot. Be pretty heavy-handed with it if you want. This is gonna be thin enough for it not to char, and it won't get that bitter taste. And you're gonna want to set your broiler to high, and you want to switch your oven rack to the furthest or the highest point. That way the chicken is close to the actual broiler. You're gonna put your chicken in there, and you're gonna leave it in there for about a minute to two. As you can see here, the sugars in the sauce are gonna start bubbling, and that's kind of what you want to see. At this point, some people may want to take it out already. My family, it's kind of weird. They like everything a little bit more charred. I like it too. It's a little bit more flavor, and this is pretty much it for me right here. Look at that. That's nice and it's actually a little bit smoky. So you can see here, this is the way it looks after. All that char, all that sweetness, all that goodness. That's beautiful right there. So we're gonna go ahead and chop it. And this is the reason why I removed the bone. So you can go ahead and do this. And look at how juicy that thigh is. Now, you want to sit this on a nice, comfy, fluffy bed of rice. I did cilantro lime. If you want to know how to do this recipe, let me know in the comments. I'll make sure I'll do a video on that. So once you have your nice, fluffy, warm bed for the chicken, it's time to put the chicken on the bed. There you go. Just like that. And you gotta hit it with that glaze one more time. You can't never have too much of that glaze. I'm telling you, it tastes so delicious. It's amazing. So this was all on a budget. Spent a little bit over $15 on the chicken. I already had rice, I already had cilantro, and I had limes. So all in all, I would say it was under $20, and you could feed about 8 people with this. I did 3 cups of rice, and that's more than enough. So now you know how to do chicken on a budget. Peace.